Hi, welcome. It's time for coffee with me. I'm Susan Buchser-Lochocki, a candidate for West Virginia's 2nd District House of Representatives seat, and this is our time together. Welcome. So, it's another week has gone by, and the things that I had talked about doing as far as my campaign goes, setting up being a write-in, an official write-in, I did not get around to because I realized I had to organize some things that were urgent for the upcoming West Virginia Day celebration that I'm planning on having and hosting in Core, West Virginia on the 20th. That took precedent. I had to take care of those things. And then some other issues came up. But anyways, it's now this week, and that's still on my agenda, so I hope to get to that some point in the next couple of days, just to let you know. Then, more about these mass shootings, I think we need to talk about. So I've been really thinking hard and researching, and you know, here are some of my thoughts about really, what we should do going forward with the keeping the Second Amendment intact, but also providing enough safety for our citizens. And then I talk about also how to go, what changes might need to be made to the educational system and our current ways of raising children that might help to produce happier children who are looking forward to the future and not angrily attacking their bullies and gangs and cliques that they're in or not in. So, anyways, here we go. As you know, I'm very pro every town should have a local firearms club where there's a shooting range, and I really think that the National Guard should be in charge of this. I think it's the best solution. And then they should also provide safety classes on a regular basis. And when somebody wants to purchase a new firearm, they can go to the class. They get a little certificate saying that they passed the class and that they are ready to purchase a gun. There's also been already a background check done, and they are good to go. So they get signed off from their local club, and then they can go and purchase a weapon, a firearm. Also, once you have one, then it should be mandatory that 2 times a year you go in and you show that you know how to use it. Because ammunition, I guess, can be expensive, and because as the government is, we want to keep our citizens safe, we will pay for the ammunition that you use when you come in to practice and to show that you are capable of handling your firearms. So that's 2 times a year. You will be asked to come in. And then also, once a year, you need to attend a safety and responsibility class. And then once a year, someone will come in to wherever you keep your firearms and inspect how you're keeping them and give you tips on what to do better. That's once a year. And then one restriction I would like to see put in place is there's no person out there going hunting for deer who needs a firearm that can fire 100 rounds in a certain amount of time. It's just not necessary to get that one deer. So I think a maximum of 10 to 15 rounds, and then you have to, stop and reload or whatever, but certainly not 100 or more. I don't think that these things are necessary in civilian hands by any means. So those are military weapons, and if you want to use that sort of a weapon, then you sign up with the military and you get that weapon and you learn how to use it. So that's one restriction that I would recommend. And then to pay for the National Guard and the shooting ranges and the ammunition that people will be using, I suggest we put a tax on ammunition. That when people want to shoot their weapons privately, that when they buy that ammunition, there should be a tax on it. And that will go to help support the system of keeping guns registered and safe. All guns need to be registered with your local National Guard so that we know who has what and where and how. So that's my suggestions. Then recently I reread up on the Columbine massacre that happened on April 20th, 99. And that's sort of when these shootings and then the future copycat ones and the epidemic started. So it sounds to me like a lot of the young people have no hope in the future. So they're just torn apart by these gangs and cliques and bullying and drugs from the past, from their junior high and high school years. So this is where the problem is. What that means is, putting more metal detectors or a policeman in elementary schools is not the solution. The solution is that, first off, we have, for the longest time, put a lot of children together in one place and put them together in one place over and over again. The same kids, the same issues, the same problems. And gangs, cliques, and bullying and drugs start. And because we've tied a lot of the teachers' hands that they can't do certain things, and then we've taken mothers out of the homes, the kids are only around each other. And this is the biggest problem. There's no adult watching them, telling them how to be responsible, showing them how to be responsible, how to care. And so we need to bring adults back into the children's lives. So my recommendation are two things. We need to bring mothers back home so that they can be there to provide love and care for their children on a regular basis so that the kids don't feel like a number and like they're the only ones against the world. Then the other part of that is apprenticeships. We need to start training children at around 14 and 15 to become responsible adults and to think about their future. What kind of job do they want? If they're thinking about their future and they're working towards it and they're having success, they're not going to be going into classrooms and shooting up their fellow citizens. It's just not going to happen. So what we need to do is around 14, 15, we need to get kids start thinking about how to write a resume, go on an interview. And I don't mean just some, I mean all. This is something needed on all levels with all children. And it's a great way to get kids to learn about being responsible before they leave home, to ease their way into adulthood. They learn how to control money, they learn how to go on interviews, how to write resumes, how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to be responsible and respectful and do good quality work. And as they work through their apprenticeship over then 3 years, which would start, the apprenticeship will start around 16, 15, 16 and go until 17, 18. During those years, they'll slowly get more responsibility, and they have to learn how to deal with adults in the adult world, and it's just a win-win situation for everybody. Small businesses, big businesses can use the help too, and everybody has success. So it's important to get kids thinking about the future. And as they finish their apprenticeship, if they want to continue in a certain direction, then they can sign up for a school. Then they know what direction they want to go. Or maybe they're done and they think, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. But there's plenty of room for apprenticeships in law offices, hospitals, construction sites, even at your local grocery store, gas station, just everywhere. There's places for apprenticeships. So that is a little bit my solution. Apprenticeships will break up the gangs. It'll break up the cliques. It'll introduce kids to new groups of other kids, and they won't be walking around being bullies to each other. And also, because they have to be responsible, they won't be able to be doing drugs. So there we go. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Mothers can be at home. They don't have to be at home full time, but they should be around as really available. Because kids, even 18, 19, 20 years old, kids need us, and it's important to be available. Anyway, that's all I have to say at this point. So these are my suggestions for the future. Thanks for stopping by. The time for change is now.